right, Heineykins, we're still here with Module 1, getting into Lesson 7 today. And over the last couple of lessons, we started adding all of these to our favorites drawings panel tools, and it's starting to get quite long. But again, just a reminder, just add those or favorite those to this that you're going to be utilizing more often. You can chop and change as you want to go along. Now, we did cover in the previous lessons, we covered all of these. So all of these. Now we're getting into some of the text tools. We do know that with certain tools like the arrow or the circle and a few of the others, you can actually add text to some of those drawings tools that you or shapes that you've used. This might be just for something standalone. Now, adding text, basically you're going to create a text box. So again, because it's selected anywhere I click, it's now going to add a text box and you can start typing. This is a text box. You can keep it short. You can actually add an entire paragraph. And as you're typing, it will start to expand. This is a text box. And I'd like to see some more space. How do I do that? Otherwise, it's going to continue on and on and on, even if, okay, you know what you do? You press Shift and Enter, forces a new line. So now we know how to add a text box. Lovely. Easy enough, right? But if I press Enter, it does the same thing as forcing a new line. How do you get out of that? Just click anywhere on the chart. Simple enough. You want to edit this, right? We're using the cursor tool as highlighted here. Click on it. You can double click to open up the settings like that as well. You can literally just click once and it gives you that cursor to continue typing. Again, you can change some of the basics here. If you'd like to get into the settings, have a click on that, change the font. You want to give it a bit of background color. You want to give it more of a border. Okay, so the line itself will thicken. You can wrap the text, and that would be if, for instance, you are typing and more and more and more, what will happen is if I now wrap the text, it's going to wrap it until I stop or I stop increasing the size or make it narrow. So you can do that as well. All of that within the settings side of things. All right, so that's a simple text box. Now, if you wanted to add an arrow and you're trying to talk about something you see in the chart, you know how to then add in an arrow if you like, or yeah, an arrow marker or an actual normal arrow. All right, so that's just a simple text box, right? Anchor text is going to be anchored to a point. I quite like this one. This is note for a specific point. So this is a random text box, right? Which I can move around. I can put anywhere I like. Fine, fair enough. But what about this anchored point? This note, this one that we're going to use here. So for instance, what if I click here? What's going to happen? All right, so it's giving me an anchor point from where that then goes. All right, so just quite simply text, change all of that as per normal. All right, press enter. That's what it does. So what do? Just click outside. Now it's got an anchor point. So this is specific for if you're wanting to point out something or something else or whatever it is, versus having a text box with an arrow or a trend line that you want to do, and then you add an arrow. There's so many things that you can play around. So this is pretty convenient just for this tool. So that note will have basically an anchored text note to a point. What do you think a price note is? Okay, obviously the price here for gold is all along the side. So for instance, anywhere I click, it doesn't have to be at a wick, it doesn't have to be on a candle, it can be in anywhere at all. What if I click up here? And that's what it's going to do. Wherever that point is, doesn't matter where the text or the price value is, the price value doesn't change. It's all based on where that anchored price note is. So that's pretty convenient if you were wanting to point out a specific point. How about that? Oh, what's that point? Oh, actually, it's $4,383.64. What about this one? And it'll tell you exactly where that is. So that is pretty convenient. Lovely. All right, so do yourself a favor if you like that, add that to your favorites. You can add the text to your favorites if you like. So again, because sometimes And the reason why we add these favorites is because you might be using something up here and you're like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, where was that price note again? It was something somewhere. And you're like, oh, it's fine. I've got it here. If you're not sure, hover over it. So adding all of these by adding these stars in helps you find things a lot faster. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, where's the date range tool? Was it this one or this one or this one? And you click through all of them versus you're like, oh, simple enough. There it is. Okay. Anyway, moving on. A pin. What is a pin? I don't know. Have a look. Click. Oh, it's like a drop location, right? But again, much like an anchored text box, this will give specific to wherever you drop that. Again, you can move that around. It doesn't have to be on a price or a candle for that matter. You can add text to it. This is a pin. You know, like when someone says drop your location, drop a pin. It's pretty simple like that. And that's it. Okay. Another tool. All right. The only thing is, like you can see, you've dropped a pin, it's hidden a note. As soon as you hover over it, it gives you that information. So that's pretty cool, pretty convenient. Have a look at the next table. Pretty self-explanatory. If you want to add a table into your chart area, just click it there. There it is. Now, there are quite a few more settings. You can add in another column. You can add in another row. You can give it borders, change the font color, change the full color, and a bunch of things. So if you're one of those who likes tables, by all means, we don't do that or use that very often. A callout is going to be similar-ish to one of these, or a comment bar. Again, click on that. All right, there it is. All right, you want to change it around, move it around, you can do that. Change the color, add some text. Pretty convenient. So a little bit of a fancier version than this. Fine. If you want to have a look at what a comment is, right? That disappeared because we hadn't added anything to it. So bear that in mind. Let me just show you what we mean. Call out there, add the text, right? Click out of it. Let's add in a comment. Okay, so it says because we actually gave something to it. What is a comment? I'm going to click. This is a, oops, I can't spell. Yep, done. So that comment will stay there versus something like that. That's a pin hides the comment itself. You can move it around. If you're not sure what you can do with it, go into the settings. That's the background. That's the border. Where is it? That's just going to be a simple click and drag rather, guys. Okay, awesome. It has the anchor point basically on that bottom left. So it doesn't work when it's underneath something. It probably works a bit better when it's up top. And again, you can change that. These are quite convenient, hides the comments, but still gives you a reminder point. You can see this versus this, quite different. And yeah, price label, it's going to be exactly what you think it is versus a price note. So it's an actual label. So let's just click there, and that gives you a specific price point. You can move that around, change it. You'll see the price value changes as I'm moving it around. Again, what can I do with it? Have a quick look at this. Coordinates are rather click and drag, like we said. You can change that. But again, you can't change the angle of which or where it's anchoring. Like you would maybe want it top left, top right, bottom right. It's always going to be here, much like this comment one as well. So that's just a price label. All right. Signpost, flag mark, last two of these here in lesson 12. Add your text. This is more text. Oops, don't need to do that. And this just gives you a signpost that stays, right? So it's different to this one where it's a pin. There's no anchor point like this one has or like this one has. This is just more like a text box, right? But the only thing is, instead of like a text box that you can move around, this will stay in relation to any of these candles, right? Any of these bars. So that signpost is fixed to whatever candle it is currently on. Okay. So on the top of that one, there it is. So that's always going to be on top of those candles. So that moves around as you'd like it. So quite a few permutations, right? Quite a few things you can actually play around with. Flag mark is kind of like a pin. The only difference is obviously it's a flag. There it is. And again, you're like, oh, what can I change? Oh, the only thing you could perhaps change is just the color, but I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So literally it's just giving a flag. Why would we want to use that versus that? That gives you, this one gives you text at least. This moves around. This one you got to drag around to specific points, any points, versus this one, the signpost sticks with the candles. This, again, you can change the anchor on these, but a flag might be something different. All right. So a number of interesting little indicator labels, if you like, that you can utilize. Now, depending on what you're trying to show and what you're trying to do, you might find some of these quite convenient. The last thing I'm going to quickly cover is if you wanted to add in, like we could potentially add a table in, you could also add an image from your computer that you downloaded from the internet, you drew, or whatever it might be, and you can actually add in an image to your chart. If you wanted to, you could actually, again, wanted to put out a tweet where you have an idea, play around with these, see if any of these work. But the ones that we utilize the most are generally the text tool, maybe this one as well. We use the flag a fair bit if you wanted a price label. But again, as we said, you really start to build a really long list of favorites. So play around, get to know some of these tools so far, and then tell us what you think. In lesson 13, we're going to be covering on the last few pieces of this puzzle and to kind of wrap up the drawings panel. So we'll see you guys for that.